Welcome to episode 3 of the Adventures of Mothgirl. Today I'm going to be doing Sunken Temple. If you have a look at the top left, my character is actually level 57 already. And that's actually due to many failed attempts at things like Blackrock Depths and the other sort of 50 to 60 instances. I think I did Blackrock Depths 3 times, and each time either someone leaves or disconnects, and then things just get worse. There was like a big bug with the instance queue. Every time someone left, you couldn't requeue with the party that you had, and when you did requeue, then it forces you to totally restart the instance, so that was definitely not cool. I tried to go Sunken Temple instead. I had heard that it was a lot easier than doing Blackrock Depths. So, about the instance, I'll get to that in just a second. Actually, yeah, let me just get to that right now. The one thing I really like about the instances in Cataclysm thus far, most of them at least, actually pretty much all of them, they've all got the quests right at the start of the instance. There's a nice quest giver there, or a couple of them, and the quests are right there, so you accept them, and there's no more doing long quest chains. There's no more having to search for the quests before you do the instance, so those completionists can actually do it all in one go now. You can just queue for the instance, get the quests right there, do them, and then get back to the start and hand them in. A lot easier. So you might have noticed now that Sunken Temple has changed a little. Yes, we're right at the start. You actually saw me join in from the queue there. Sunken Temple is tiny compared to what it was now. If I remember correctly, it was actually 3 levels. Before there was that whole troll area, and you had to kill the mini bosses and summon them. It was a long thing, and now all there is this one level, and it's just the dragonkin, wormkin guys. The trolls are gone; they nowhere to be seen. So I'm trying tanking out here, as you can see. It's pretty cool. I must say I do enjoy the druid tanking. I think I said that before anyway. And it's not very difficult, but it still just keeps you slightly more engaged than something like Paladin tanking. So I just sped the videos up on the trash a bit because, yeah, it's a little bit boring. No one needs to see a bunch of trash dying. If I remember correctly, you had to do a lot of pre-quests, and you couldn't always just summon this. You needed someone in the party specifically with this ancient egg to be able to summon the avatar of Vashj'ir. And wow, that's changed, hey? You can just run up in here, pick up the egg from the guy at the start of the instance, and summon the boss. That's it, as easy as that. I really do like that Blizzard changed the instances as they did. I mean, I've been doing a lot of instances. I actually tried to do every single instance at least once, and I was doing pretty good with that. I was really happy that I got to about level 50 and I did every single one. That includes Dire Maul. I did all the Dire Maul sections. They've actually been lowered a bit. Their levels quite a lot lower. It's between 40 and 50 now. And it's a good bunch of experience that you get there. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's a bit of a break from the leveling and stuff. And you know, on that sort of note, I gotta say that the quality of the areas and the quality of the quests and stuff sort of decreased a bit when I got to the higher levels. I did 1,000 Needles, and that was a lot of fun, and then I went to Tanaris, and that's sort of, I mean, it looks a lot different there, but I don't feel that the quests really changed very much. I mean, there were so many of kill X mob and used X item on the mob to pick up whatever from them. I don't know, those you know, kill quests that have just been modified a little bit to make them feel slightly different, but you still got a ton of them in a row, so it wasn't so great. And here we actually, in the normal fashion, someone disconnects, sadly just before the boss actually, but someone disconnects and we had to wait for them. Yeah, so the zone sort of, I sort of stopped in. They got a little bit more boring. I started on Tanaris, I didn't finish it. I started on Blasted Lands, I didn't finish it, and then I got the rest of my levels in Winterspring. And after that, obviously, I just moved on to Outland. But the boss fights in these instances, they're definitely not very complex. Most of the guys that I sort of instanced with thus far have had at least a couple of bind on account items. You know, if not only the shoulders and the chest, they had maybe the trinkets and stuff as well, and it helps out a lot. You got a lot more HP as a tank, you got a lot more mana as a healer. Things just go a lot easier. I mean, if you look at the boss, it's basically just tanking it and killing it. Nothing special at all. There were a few interesting ones, like I really enjoyed Deadmines and Shadowfang Keep. I actually wiped a lot in Shadowfang Keep. I think I said that in the previous sorry, episode. but you know, most of the bosses are pretty simple, and the map, I mean, I got to talk about the map as well. The maps that they added for all the instances, they are really, really cool. It makes it so much simpler. You can just open your map, look at all those really intricate instances like Blackrock Depths, which I did fail on, so I guess that doesn't really help much there. But like Blackrock Depths, where there are so many little corridors, little areas that you got to go to pick up those bosses. The bosses are just marked with that nice little skull on the map, so you know exactly where they're going to be. And your quests are also marked on the maps as well, so it's that much easier to find your way around, even if you don't know them very well. Some of them have changed a bit, so it's easier to find a way around and get to where you want to be. And I do think that's a great feature. I hope Blizzard just keeps up the quality with that, and keeps doing that the rest of the instances. But this instance does have a lot of trash. There was a ton of these whelplings, and they're a bit of a pain to tank because I sort of feel guilty when I even let one of these little whelplings go for the DPS. But after a while, I sort of just, you know, said, no, never mind. Let the normal mobs attack the DPS. They can sort themselves out. But you know, I get a bit OCD with that kind of thing, trying to keep every single mob off the DPS. But the bosses and stuff, I haven't really struggled. The druid tanks have so many like panic buttons. You've got the survival instincts, which I got via talents, the regeneration thing, which uses your rage to heal you. I don't have it right here now, but I got bark skin afterwards, which reduces damage as well, and you can even use that while stunned. So I mean, I really don't see how druid tanks ever die. And I suppose that goes for PvP as well, which I want to actually try out a bit more. But there are so many like little panic buttons, so if you even think you're going to take a little bit more damage than you want to take, you pop one of those, and by the time it's finished, then the cooldown will probably have started already, and you can just pop the next one, and you can keep this endless chain of damage reduction going. As for skills and stuff, I mean, I'm just mostly using Mangle, Maul, a lot of Fairy Fire, obviously, because it's pretty much free. You're paying for the cooldown there, you have to wait. But a lot of that, and Swipe is obviously great for the AoE pools. I realize now that in these lower level instances, Swipe was a bit silly. I got to above level 60, and Swipe just sort of started owning. Then it does a lot more damage. So it obviously started scaling a little bit better or a little bit faster there. But that's pretty much all I'm using. I try to stun the units because the stun doesn't use much rage as well. And if any of you watch this and you know what you're doing with a druid tank, input is always welcomed. I mean, I'm a bit of a noob, okay? With druid, this is the first druid I actually properly play, and I'm just I don't know, taking it step by step here, and there are so many things that I can use. There are so many things that I don't like. I keep forgetting about them. I keep forgetting, like, you know, I could use Enrage. It's only got a 60-second cooldown. I could use it pretty much on every single pool, but I just don't, because I keep thinking, okay, wait, I don't want to pop this because I might need it in 20 seconds from now, but that just never seems to happen. So that's a silly mentality that I'm stuck in there. Otherwise, yeah, you can see we just ran to the wrong boss first, but that's just us being silly. So we run all the way back, and you obviously have to kill the other boss before you come to kill this dragon here. There's at least a couple of trolls left in here. All you troll lovers will be happy about that, although they're not standard trolls, they're slightly undead. And there's a big tragedy coming up soon. You'll definitely love that. But yeah, as I said, a lot of trash. The instance gets slightly repetitive, but I like the fact that it was compressed as much as it is now. I remember running around the old one, and you sort of had to have a guide there. I had friends and stuff that I instanced with and did these things with, and they knew these instances because they played a lot of vanilla WoW, and they sort of enjoyed it back then. And I mean, I was just blindly following them and taking it as it came. But now you've got this one-layered map. Instead of, you can usually drop down that hole in the middle there. There was a bottom level there, and then above there was those mini boss trolls, and it's just a lot simpler now, and I've got to say, a lot more fun. There was recently a nerf on the amount of experience you get from the instance quests. I can definitely feel that difference. I think, I mean, they didn't, I don't know if they, I can't remember if they said how much they actually nerfed the amount that you get, but it feels like a huge amount to me. Entering Outland now, which, not right here obviously, but I just entered Outland this weekend. I sort of try to power level a bit, and the quests there give a lot more experience than they do in the old world. So when you get to Outland and Wrath of the Lich King content, Northern End, I recommend doing as many instances and instance quests as you can. These mobs are also so irritating. I mean, you know, if you keep hitting something and it says immune every time you hit it, why keep hitting it? There's some funny things that people do. You know, you can obviously see that these mobs aren't killable, so you can just get out of the way, please. And here things just started going pear-shaped. Okay, so the pools started getting a bit bigger, and there was this hunter in our group that had this crazy pet that just seemed to run everywhere. I really don't know what he was thinking, and you know, that's one of the most irritating things ever, a hunter that can't control his pet. You know, if you're not sure what you're pressing, what buttons you're pressing, if you have your pet on aggressive, I mean, that's just a bad idea. Rather just sort of leave it on passive, keep it at your side, use the skills that it has, and you know, just try not to get the whole group in trouble. I suppose what happened here wasn't entirely his fault, but still, I like blaming someone else. There's so like I said, there's going to be one long chain reaction of bad things happening here. So there, a guy gets feared into the other groups at the back, and then I think, okay, time to save him, so I use my favorite skill ever, charge, and I get in there. Okay, so I'm still struggling to get aggro of these guys. I'm taking them one at a time, and there's a fairy fire, nicely done, well done Swen, and then a maul, and then I've got aggro on most of them here. Okay, not bad, and there I can just check that I'm actually not using my challenge in raw to get them all, but yeah, I got aggro on most of them. I see Timmy has aggro there, so one guy has aggro, I take that off him, not so bad. And then here things just start going funny, because our healer apparently disconnected. He's just staying still, so bam, heals stop coming, my health is down to 500 red and dead. So we got a bit lucky here, because the group actually managed to sort of pull it back. Don't even ask me how. They didn't have a tank, but yeah, the guys played pretty well, I gotta say that. Most of these guys, I think, are just people leveling ults. They wanted to see the whole Cataclysm experience for themselves, so, you know, why not? So they did well. The healer got back, and he had over enough mana to heal everyone. He kept them alive. Usually I like it when people sort of release their spirit immediately and try to run back, but I thought, you know, I thought we were gonna make it, so I stuck around. And there's another thing actually, the itemization on the whole sort of is a lot better. I remember a lot of people complaining about never seeing any druid gear. Okay, so never seen any spell power leather, never seen any proper items for your boomkin, stuff like that. They were always forced to go for cloth, but that's not the case anymore. There's actually some decent items. So there's me just being well mannered, saying well played. I personally didn't get very lucky. Either a rogue beat me at the rolls that are on the gear that I wanted, or it just didn't drop. But it didn't really, like I said, it didn't really bother me. With the amount of bind on account items that I got on me, I'm pretty cool. So there he said, sorry, disconnected. Mystery solved. But the quests that we got in the instances here, you're just picking up Lord, what was that? Jamal An the Prophet. I picked up his head. The quests are mostly either just kill X amount or loot X's head. There's not much variety there, but I mean, there doesn't really have to be. It's sort of, they serve their purpose, that's for sure. So then now we can actually get to the last bosses. That's a good thing. That one that we skipped before, we can actually go to him now. But I forgot totally about these two dragons that start swarming around the middle of the room. One thing I didn't enjoy so much about the instance is that, like, all the mobs and bosses and stuff look exactly the same. I mean, didn't I just kill these two dragons a little while ago? I think so. I obviously don't know the lore behind this. I don't know what's actually going on here. I just know that it got a lot smaller, the trolls are gone, and that's about it. So we're killing the dragons, and then we're moving on to the last boss, which I remember that being a lot more difficult than it was. He did this AoE poison thing, and that sort of just owned everyone. But then again, everything just seemed to get a little bit easier. There's my mana, haha. Just not gonna commit to anything. They actually want to do the instance again. I'm not up for that. So So there's another thing I sort of ran into a lot, is people actually wanting to do instances many times just for the rep, because another nice little thing that Blizzard added in Cataclysm was the tabards that give you rep for your faction. So you can get Goblin, Troll, this is now for Horde obviously, Orc, Blood Elf, and Tauren. So you get the rep, you can get the nice mounts from them. You know, a lot of people did it for that Goblin mount. I've actually even got the Goblin mount, but I didn't get it because I wanted it. I just thought that was the coolest tabard, so I put that one on first. And I'm not using that. I've got a really cool wolf mount, a new black wolf that was added to Orgrimmar a little while ago. I don't even know when, but it's really cool. So this boss, probably the most challenging in the instance. It has that nice little sleep that it puts on the tank, and then it goes along to attack the DPS. It does that poison spray, but our healer was perfectly able and perfectly capable of keeping us up. I was pretty impressed. Thus far, I've been the guys that have actually stayed in the instances, the ones that didn't disconnect and drop and leave after the boss that they wanted, they've been pretty good. I've had some okay experiences, but here's another little trick I wanted to show you. If you want to hand those quests in, you can just teleport out of the instance while you're still in your party, and then teleport straight back in. And then that'll put you right at the entrance of the instance, and you'll be able to hand those quests in immediately. The only thing is, you got to remember, you got to do this before the rest of your party leaves, which is sometimes a bit of a challenge, because if they're not going to hand those quests in, they sort of leave immediately. So it's a good thing to do. You should try it out. It's better than running all the way back to the start. I suppose if you have a slightly slower PC, then the load time is a bit of a sort of a downer, but it's a lot faster. So the experience there, pretty nice. And I'm just saying thanks to them. Goodbye. I generally I don't want to do instances more than once. The speed that you actually level at when you have these bind on account items on, you really don't have the luxury of doing it more than once, because you out-level the instances so fast. Oh, and look how attractive Mothgirl is. I've actually been on purpose trying to keep that helmet on as long as I can, because it just makes my character look so cool. And there's that mount. How cool is that? It looks like this mount just got a lot more love than the other ones. It seems to have better textures. It's got that cool little is that a bedroll? And oh, what is that? A rabot? If anything, I was the most impressed by these cool little critters around Everlook. They really do look cool. I actually saw a cool engineering one on the auction house as well. All these little mechanical ones are just cute. So my glyphs and stuff, I've been struggling a lot with this. If anyone out there actually knows a lot about druids and sort of what glyphs you need, what you should be using for tanking and feral DPS, then you can let me know, because as I said, I'm open to suggestions. So that's about it for Mothgirl this week. Once again, a little bit random. I'm going to try do some PvP next week, because I think I mentioned that I want to try power level all the way to 80 as fast as I can, given I don't have that much time, so I don't know how fast will be, but I'm going to try. And I want to try doing some proper new content that maybe some of you haven't seen yet, or that you guys are keen to like see cast or whatever. So maybe next week I'll do sort of I'll call it a filler, but I'm going to be doing some PvP, and this is going to be sort of the first time I ever PvP with feral. It's going to be embarrassing, it's going to be brutal, but I want you guys to see it, and you can sort of laugh at me and give me some hints and tips, because without latency and with my lack of skill, it might be it might be a bit of a joke. So stay tuned for that next week, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be doing another one next week. Sunday is the day for Mothgirl. It might be up on Monday morning, but yeah, that's it. So let me play you out with this cool song again, and I hope you all have a great week, I suppose.